All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Dayla Bishop. Thank you for coming to spend Valentine's Day with us. We love you being our sweethearts today. So on behalf of Keller Williams Greater Columbus, we're happy to host this event today. Rachel Hall, my assistant team leader, has been very instrumental in putting this together, along with our moderator today, Ryan Miracle. So Ryan,
Hi.
I'll let you take it away after I tell you one thing. The bathrooms, you have to go out into the hall, and the code for the ladies' room is 5600. It's up here on the board. So we want to make sure that you know how to get into the bathrooms. And you actually can come back in this door. It's unlocked today. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. There will be a happy hour following.
Right over here.
We're not going to tell you any details about it, so you have to stick around.
Okay, yeah.
All right, here you go. So once again, thank you guys. Can we give a round of applause for our hosts, Dayla and Rachel? Thank you. Yeah, originally this was supposed to be a CE class, but how many of you guys raise of hands kind of groan when you have to take a CE class? Yeah. I just got done teaching CE, and it's kind of a groan fest too. So we wanted to make this a little bit different, add a little bit of different pieces of value to you guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. Great turnout. So really, the biggest issue that we're having right now as an industry is everything's changed. So from my study, I've seen that the average tenure of an agent is less than 5 years. So that being said, a lot of the agents don't remember it being as tough as it is right now. But I can promise you that this, I'm not saying comparing myself to your granddad, to where we walked up both hill both ways and it was snowing and fought snakes. It's not like that. So this is a different market. But what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys and hopefully give you guys some new skills that can help you become the best known agent in whatever ideal client that you want to go after or any market that you want to go after. So what I wanted to do is I want to introduce our panelists. So John and I have known each other for what, 4 or 5 years now, something like that. So
3.
3. Okay, fine. So that being said, so I brought each of these guys up here for different reasons. So I'm going to have each of them throughout the next 2 hours talk about what they do to focus to be different in video than the agents that they're competing against. So John and I have known each other for 3 years now. And John has a really unique spin on how to get his clients to leave reviews, because we all know how important reviews are. But this is just more than just Google reviews. He's actually getting video testimonials from his clients. How many of you guys have tried that in the past? How many of you actually, maybe John, yeah, and he does a great job with it. So I'm going to have you share some of the tidbits on how you were able to encourage the clients to get a video review. So Jensen, he and I are new in our relationship, but one of the things that I've learned about Jensen, his content is so easy to watch. It's so fun and it's addictive because he has this, I'm just going to send it downrange. I'm going to do the video that I want to do. His style is so much fun to watch. And then Lauren, she was our first speaker at our agent launch event August.
Yeah.
And the way that she's been able to grow her following, and bet you guys didn't know this, and she's probably going to talk about this, but most of her clients are people she already knows. So she's not using social media as lead generation. She's using it as lead nurture, which is usually different than what most people. And my first experience with video was with Joey. So with Joey, I actually came to him to teach me how to do video, to put a presentation together for CE so I could teach other agents.
When was that?
That was years ago. That was a long time ago.
17?
Yeah, something like that. And then he actually introduced me to Anthony, who is shooting. And by the way, does anyone have any issues being on camera today? Figures. So with each of these guys, I have a special relationship with each of them, and I figured they would add a lot of value to your guys' practice as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just get right into the questions. So, John, so we kind of introed you on your unique way that you use business to talk to your ideal clients and not goad them, but encourage them to put themselves on video. So talk to a little bit about that, about how that started.
So kind of started off with, one of my first closings, we're in the title company and they handed me the sign that said, thanks Talon Title or whatever. We just bought a house and took a picture in there and I posted it and just didn't feel great. Like I love Talon Title, but I wanted more recognition for it. So the very next closing, I had my clients just take a picture in front of the house that they were buying. And then the third one, I said, well, hey, let's do a video too, of just you telling your story, kind of what do you call it, the Pixar questions?
Yep. So do you want to go over those questions?
No, I didn't use that. Because I would ask them to do that. They do this big buildup. They get really anxious, and they would just always say no to being on the video. And then I just said, hey, tell me about your experience of working with me to buy this house and why you want to buy a house in this neighborhood for you and your family. And then just turned into them reviewing me. And no matter how hard I tried to make it about them, it always came back to them just giving me and my team a review. And so we just embraced that. And now almost every one of our clients ends up not only being willing to do the video, but expecting to do it, since they follow us already on social media, that they ask like, hey, when do you want to do the video? So.
That's good. So does anyone know the 2 magic words that would prompt you to ask for a review before closing, before John's situation? What's the magic? Anyone in my challenge group remember the 2 magic words? Thank you. So as soon as they say the words thank you, you need to then respond with, oh, you're so welcome. Would you mind leaving me a review on Google, on video, or what have you? So instead of waiting for it to close, once again, their life is going to be chaos as soon as they sign this paperwork and start moving in, try to find areas in the transaction where they say thank you, and then you can respond and ask a favor. Good. So what are some of the unique ways that you use?
I'm up.
I'm good for it.
Hello.
We got to share.
Yeah.
So what are some of the unique ways that you have used video here recently?
So, I mean, everybody should know that stories sell, right? So sometimes I don't really know what I'm doing any given moment ever. But I just have a lot of happy accidents. Like, I was selling a family home where the father had passed away, and I asked one of the sons to just, nobody likes to be on camera, but I said, hey, I'm just going to put a microphone on you and just record what we're talking about. So we walked around the property, and I just said, tell me what's going on. He told me, his father had done this and built this here, and a lot of people had thought that this was actually a park when it was actually part of their property. And so I never actually used him on video, but I used the audio, and then I flew my drone around the property and just kind of let him tell the story kind of in a narrative, with letting the video tell the story with him, as the voiceover. So that was one way that I've been kind of creative, not even understanding that I didn't mean to do that. It just, when I was reviewing what I had, I just was like, oh shit, here's how I'm going to put this together. So, and then recently I have a house in Victorian Village that was moved from its original location. And so I've been trying to tell the story through different, like, video myself in different parts of the house and saying, hey, this house wasn't originally here, but it moved here. And I'm in a nasty kind of old unfinished basement, talking about how, well, the reason I'm in the basement is because if you're in Victorian Village, you'd be crouching down, but you can stand up straight and kind of jump up because this isn't the original foundation. The foundation was built in the 80s. And so I think it's just trying to find a different way other than, welcome to 123 Main Street. Come on in. Let's take a look inside, which, I refer to as basic bitch realtor. No offense to anybody that does that.
We're all friends here.
But, so I just try to find a way to look different and tell a story through video.
So how many of you guys have done or watched the Welcome to 123 Main Street? Now, honestly, how many of you guys actually watch those videos? So
You made it.
So no offense, buddy. But I mean, it's just one of those things to where attention is the new form of oil. So if you can find a way to capture someone's attention and keep it, that is the new skill set that I'm hoping that we can embody with you guys, with these guys up on the panel. Lauren, so what is some of the ways that you have used social to leverage yourself into the position you are right now?
So mine has kind of changed a lot. So when I had my old Instagram, I was doing the funny voiceovers that were, the ninja in the blazer is who a realtor is and all these different random things, and kind of making it all towards real estate. Once my account got duplicated, and we'll talk about this later, but I regret taking it down and starting fresh. Ever since then, I've just been super authentic and super, again, telling the story, how I took a client who I had no idea who they were a referral, and now we're friends, and net them tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe they were a FSBO before me, and they still net more even after commission. And I've gotten, I would say, more authentic responses and more authentic relationships after trying to relate to people in that same position than I did the funny stuff that I was doing before. So.
Good. So have you noticed that John talks about story, Jensen talks about story, and I'm sure Joey's going to touch on this as well. So you're hearing a recurring theme here of story being more important than a lot of the technical aspects of doing video. So if you guys need help trying to figure out how to tell stories, get with these guys, ask me afterwards, and we'll be happy to help you out. By the way, I know the projector's right in your eye.
It's okay. It
So
makes my eyes look even
you are
bluer,
more
right?
than welcome. Okay, Joey, how about you? What's a unique way that you're using video that you're not seeing anywhere else?
Well, I don't want to make a claim that I don't see it anywhere else necessarily. And quite frankly, I'm a big fan of imitation's finest form of flattery. Like if you find something, doesn't have to be in real estate, but if you follow people, I imagine most of us have Instagram in here, and we probably have, if you're like my wife, she follows a bunch of celebrity accounts. So it's like you see a bunch of celebrities and what are they doing? But obviously people in your industry. So as we get into content creation, talk about why you choose certain pieces of audio or concepts of why you shoot a certain way. But we have a weekly podcast. We have a video podcast. It's a split screen podcast. So I format it as a square. And so it's basically, you always see my face. You always see my wife's face. We really focus on three things. We basically just have a conversation. Started as we have a weekly meeting, right? Like we're a husband and wife team, by the way, and there's no one else on our team. It's just us. So we need to have weekly meetings at least and sit down and talk to one another and figure out what we're doing and what we need to do. And it was like, all right, why don't we just record this? Let's start recording this, keep each other honest a little bit about what our goals are and what we should be executing. Then it's like, why don't we just throw our phones up there, mount our phones up there and start recording. And I produced a couple podcasts already. So I already had the equipment, so that helped. And yeah, we just set up the mics and started recording. We're on episode 53. We just posted, and it's been about 75 weeks. So we definitely missed a couple of months in there, COVID stuff or vacation or whatever. But it's been a year and a half of basically weekly podcasts. And I feel like that helps us tell our story about what we do as family people, because we have 2 kids. We live at North Star in Sunbury. So we talk about family, community, and home ownership. Almost all of our content is based around the 3-legged stool of family, community, and home ownership. Home ownership is last on purpose. Nobody wants to be beat over the head with sales. So tell your story, be relatable, be a human being, and your vibe attracts your tribe. So whatever you put out there, those are more than likely the people that are going to come to you and say, I like you. I want you to help me do what I need to do, which is, in this case, probably sell a house. So that's what I would say is a weekly podcast. So it just kind of humanizes us, lets us get deep, lets us get a little goofy, a little bit serious. Our podcast has a recap of what we've done the past week. We talk about, we have a topic. So we try to be an authority on certain subjects or just have fun with it. We just did 10 drivable spring break vacations. So we try to make it topical. People are booking their spring break stuff. And if you're in Columbus, you want to drive somewhere, here are 10 places that you can go drive to. And then we do a game at the end. So it's just slapstick, goofy stuff. Would you rather fall on ice or get whacked over the head? Would you, it's like different games, right? But like people are like, oh yeah, I would rather do that too. So again, it's just a little bit relatable, a little bit fun, 15 minutes, nothing crazy.
So to your point, so you've done 75 episodes, or there's
53 of roughly 75 weeks. So we've just saying we've missed some weeks, but basically once a week.
Okay, so you're starting to see a lot more people enter the podcasting space. So tell us about what the drag was like getting that figured out up front, like setting up the audio, setting up the lighting, figuring out what you're going to say. What was that process like? I've produced 2 podcasts already. One that a company called Focus 3. So they worked with Ohio State. E+R=O. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that stuff, but they did the book with Urban Meyer. What's that book called? Above the Line, Urban Meyer stuff. So I produced their podcast, and then I've been on a podcast as well with Real Producers founder, Bobby Wright, Real Producers Magazine. So we had a podcast together as a co-host. So I've done some podcasting already.
you have to come up with the format. You got to know what you're going to talk about. Our first episode sucked. I'm just going to say it was not good. It was not good. So like anything, practice makes not perfect, but better, right? So just keep doing it. Reaches and reps, as they say, reaches and reps. Just keep doing it over and over and over. First listing video, Anthony Marling. First listing video I ever shot was for a top 5 agent, and it was horrible. I would never want to watch it again. But you watch it back, and you're like, yeah. Just like anything, you've all had your first transaction in real estate. You're like, yeah, well, either that was awesome, or maybe we can do a little bit better the next time. And you get better and better and better at it. But figure out what you're going to talk about. The format is everything. What are you going to talk about? How long is it going to be? Is it going to be video? Are you going to syndicate it? So you have the RSS feed. So you're going to be on iTunes and Spotify and all that. We don't do that. I've done that for the other 2 podcasts. We don't do that on purpose because it's not about finding somebody in Dallas, Texas to listen to our podcast. It's about the lead nurture. It's about humanizing us as people. So I just put it out on our regular social media channels. I've done the other stuff, but that's not what this is for. This podcast is just to humanize us a little bit deeper.
That's good. So one of the things that's unique about what Joey and Jess have done is so there's millions of podcasts that if you go on to your podcasting listening, whether it's Apple or Spotify or something like that, there's, I think, close to 1 million podcasts now. The average amount of episodes for podcasts is 3. So people start and they don't finish, which I think is incredibly unique and powerful for what you've done. So now that you've found kind of your voice, are you guys getting traction from your podcast and getting more engagement?
I think to touch on what John said earlier, it's almost like there's that expectation where we do about your buyer success stories, right? That when we do have weeks that we're either sick or it's just too busy or we're on vacation or whatever, that we do get some folks that are like, hey, where's the podcast? Where's the episode at this week? So we enjoy that. And of course, if we mention somebody on the show, it's a little bit of intention, to mention certain people, because then when we post it, you literally tag them, mention them, and then they see it. The company, you were at this place and you're at the trampoline park, and then trampoline park in Westerville is commenting on your stuff, and maybe they share because they love that you mentioned them in it. And we had sponsors for a while. Once you start taking on sponsors, it's a different level of responsibility, and that was fun for a while, but just again, different. We wanted to keep it fun, casual, not have that level of responsibility, just keeping it fun. I can't remember the end of your question there.
No, that was good.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, it's just that people do at some point, you do something enough. You have really good listing videos, you have really informative content, and you do it enough, and then people expect you to keep doing it. Did you have a question?
Can I chime in?
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
That's my wife,
So
yes.
We
Yes.
do, we'll go to, he films for Big Walnut Football, and I hold a tailgate. I have random people coming up to me being like, oh my gosh, I love your podcast. How's your daughter doing? I heard she had to get her cat for, her tooth filled or whatever. And I'm like, great to meet you. So yeah, I mean, it goes around. You don't know who these people are, but they know who you are because people are sharing your podcast.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about community, and we really entrenched ourselves in our community, making ourselves the face of the community. So a lot of people are, they'll reach out and love your podcast. Sorry, did you see?
This is the last thing I'll say, and sometimes you do things a lot, and you want to look at the analysis. You want to go look back at your stats, how many people watched it, shared it, commented, liked it, whatever. You want to look at all that stuff, but a lot of times this stuff is anecdotal. Like there is no stat that says, Kim and Mike are going to come up to you on Tuesday and you're going to say, hey, I loved, it's really funny the one you did about the thing, and then my wife and I relate to that, and you're like, I didn't know Mike and Kim, they never commented on it. They never I would never see that, but then they come up to you. We're in that type of business where everyone is a prospective client. So just put good content out there and people will gravitate to it.
Thanks, buddy. Let's go back down here to John.
Yep.
So next question is kind of what have you learned from your experience with doing video that you wish you would have done sooner?
Just doing more of it.
More of it?
Yeah, more.
Could you expound?
So I whenever I start doing something, I really like to do it big and make a master plan for it, and then stop doing it after about 3 days or 3 episodes instead of the podcast. So, so this year I made a big plan of doing all these videos for different things, and just after 3 or 4 videos, threw it in the trash and stop doing it. But I spent so much time planning all of that this year, right?
Yep.
Versus just going out and doing, random ones about basements of a 200-year-old house in Victorian Village. Yeah, I wish I'd have just done more of it and put more of it out there. So that's where I'm at now.
Cool. Jensen?
What was the question again?
So what is something that you wish you would have done sooner? Now having your experience with video, what is something you would have wished you would have started sooner?
It's essentially, I'm going to echo John. It's getting over my paralysis by analysis. It is when I do my best work when I don't overthink it. Like that basement video, I had no plan. I'm sorry, Joey. I'm not. Don't mean to shit on planning everything out, but I do best when I just shoot from the hip.
Yep.
I did a video I think it was a year or two ago, and it was literally 105 degrees outside, and I just did the video about the real estate market being hot.
Is that the one where you're sprinting?
That was the one when I ran down the street. I had with Chariots of Fire playing, and the guy that was flying the drone and helping me was just like, wow, you're really doing it. I'm like, you gotta sell it. So I was actually sprinting in Sperry's, and I was hot, but that was the whole premise of the video. And when I don't think about it is when the best content comes, because I don't have time to overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I wish I would do more and more often. But again, it comes down to that. I want it to be awesome. I want it to hit a certain way. And so I just need to get out of my own way to create more.
So if I'm hearing you right, it's creating more, and done is better than perfect.
That's correct.
So waiting for a video to be perfect is just going to be a video that's going to sit on your shelf forever.
I have spent a lot of money on hiring assistant photographers and videographers to film things that never actually got put out.
Yeah. What about you?
So, like I said, last year with my last account, I jumped on whatever was trending. Like if it had a viral video, I would jump on, the funny stuff. But I got a lot of people who would follow me and like things. I mean, I would have a couple hundred comments, a couple thousand likes, but it was nothing that was relevant to my business. It was just random, people I was responding to.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I switched that gear into being just more authentic and telling the story, it's actual relationships I'm building, actual people who resonate with what I'm saying. And even though I'm not getting as many followers, likes, or comments, it's much more worth my time to even put out the content because it's people who actually are resonating with me, the story, and what I'm actually doing.
Right.
So
we're actually going to touch on vanity metrics a little bit later. Yeah, I mean, do you want to expound upon what happened to your account?
Oh, yeah. I got not hacked, but they basically replicated me. So Jen and I were in Mexico getting engaged. Thanks, babe. And I was like, nothing's coming through. And all of a sudden there was a second account and people started messaging me. They're like, is this you? Is this you? Is this you? And I was like, no, it's not. I was LKW Home Team _Lauren, and this one was LKW Home Team .Lauren or something. But they had in the span that we were gone for 8 days, they had gained 10,000 of my followers, and they had ripped off and replicated in every single video, and it was all there. And I just shut down, and I was like, you know what, I'm done. I can't. At that point, I had I think 75,000 followers, and so I was like, I'm done with Instagram. And then you invited me 2 weeks later to speak, and I'm like, oh shit, I should probably get an Instagram again. But I didn't delete it. I just deactivated it because I was so done with it. And it's been so hard to get back into the mindset of do this because it was working. I'm just bitter, but that's a me problem, not an Instagram problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my biggest, I know we'll talk about regrets, but don't shut it down. Just breathe for a second and it'll be fine.
Right.
But again, even with a much smaller following right now and me trying to build it back up, it's building much more personable relationships that are bringing us more business than just, the clout, if you will, of a bunch of people thinking I was funny for lip syncing something that 10,000 people already done. So,
yep. Joey, what is something that you wish you would have started sooner, knowing what you know now?
I don't know. Quite frankly, I'm not really, I try a lot of stuff. So I don't know that I really have a lot of regrets, honestly. That's kind of how I've led my content creation life, is just this kind of a no fudges given attitude about it, because we are in public sales. Your face is in your voice and your brand and your presence is what helps you sell. So I think the idea that you put content out there, I'd be, and I love Jensen, I'd probably be a little thoughtful about their process, right? Just that I go back to, for me, a lot of our stuff doesn't have to, but a lot of our content does go back to family, community, and home ownership. So if we're making a listing video, it's home ownership, maybe then we make a promotional video, and then maybe the listing video, the new listing in Sunbury this week. And so then maybe we make a promotional video about why you should live in Sunbury. And then maybe we make an event video that is specific to the open house that we're having on Saturday. So like you can take everything that you guys do in your real estate business, nearly everything that you do is what I call a PO. It's a promotional opportunity. You got mail in your PO box. That's like my little joke with Jess. Like if there's something going on in your business, you just met with a new industry partner at lunch, and maybe you guys are working on a new plan together. You just met with a new buyer, and they want to talk about buying in maybe Dublin or something, and that's the opportunity for you to talk about why living in Dublin is a great place to live to your followers. So like nearly everything that you do in your life is a promotional opportunity. You just got to start thinking like that. Too many people think like this is just what I do. Who wants to really hear about it? But if you make a plan and you do it consistently, then people start to expect that, oh, that's Mike, and Mike always puts out this kind of content, and I know to expect that from Mike. Mike is a trusted realtor. You know, it's a little 1 + 2 = 3, but that is the basics of it.
So for that spur of the moment, the PO content that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
or where are you guys placing that content? How are you shooting that content? This is a bonus question.
I feel like you should go first.
By the way, I'm not shitting on Joey at all. I have immense respect for this man and his work. However, to your point, I've done 3 podcasts. Guess what? I've never planned it out.
I feel like I'm the middle woman here between you two.
That's okay. What?
Right. So the PO content.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like this kind of stuff, where are you placing that? Where are you being strategic with that content that you're doing?
I don't think there's an exact science to this, right? Like, so going back to your vibe attracts your tribe. Maybe your people are TikTok, Snapchat people. I don't have TikTok and Snapchat personally. I'm the bread and butter, the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those are like, you know, we start getting into different places, and there are definitely other LinkedIn. There are other places as well. But I think the low-hanging fruit, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, most people are gonna go there. So I think the other, and I don't know if we're going to get into it, is once you start deciding where you're going to put it, you got to figure out how you're going to shoot it. Is it going to be vertical or horizontal? That's the other piece of it too. You find a lot of people, I'm talking to my buddy Anthony before the event here, about content that's shot wide and then cropped to vertical, and things that aren't so great about that. So then, you know, the deeper you get into your content, it's like, I don't know, it's onion is maybe the right metaphor, but like there are lots of layers to it, and you can go as deep as you want, but keeping it simple is typically a little bit easier to execute.
Not only that, but the watermarks. So if you shoot on TikTok and then you try to post it on Instagram, it's going to like bottom you to the algorithm, because they're like, wait a second, this is an original, right?
Yep.
But it's just a lot for us. It's a lot of, you know, kind of knowing where we're getting our clientele. And for Jen and I specifically, it's Instagram, because we are part of the LGBTQIA. We have a lot of people who, you know, follow us there. But I also cross-post everything to Facebook, because I grew up 2 hours away from here. So everyone who I grew up with is not quite in our central Ohio location, but I've gotten referrals. You know, I've spent an hour driving to someone. I have one in contract right now, where I graduated from high school an hour away with another KW agent who's happened to have the listing. So it was in the Columbus MLS. Like, I'll work that all day long,
Right.
You know, drive up there for an hour to help a client who's I've known since, you know, sophomore year of high school. So it's really just knowing kind of where you're hitting people. We've started to dabble in TikTok a little bit. We're starting to get into YouTube a little bit, but look, those are totally different beasts than just
Animals.
posting on your story, doing reels and like posting on Facebook. It has made it a lot easier now that Meta owns both Facebook and Instagram to kind of just put them together, that every time you post it, but then you also get people who, if I'm posting on my Instagram, it's automatically going to my Facebook and I'm tagging her. Now it's on her Instagram and her Facebook. People are like, holy, like, come on, ladies, like really 4 places. And then we tag the whole team and now they're all, I mean, it's a beast,
Right.
you know, you just got to figure out what works and what doesn't.
So where are you posting your spur of the moment content, Vincent?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't really have much.
You do.
Spur of the moment. I mean, yeah, I mean, I film it on a camera or a phone and then I upload it native to whichever platform. You know, I don't film in Instagram. I don't film, you know, on TikTok, you know, or any of those. I try to just film the content and then crop it to the best, you know, timing and resolution for each platform.
Why do you do that?
Because each platform doesn't like the other platforms.
Right.
So I try to make them all happy because I'm a people pleaser and a platform pleaser.
So like Lauren mentioned, doing something on TikTok, exporting it, and then sending it to Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Have you guys seen videos on other platforms that had the logo of the prior platform? What does that do to your reach?
It suppresses it.
Kills it.
Yeah.
So even if you are able to export from TikTok without the watermark, it was still created in TikTok, and there's metadata that's buried inside of the codec of the video that is still going to be read by YouTube, and they're going to squash that video. Pepsi doesn't promote Coke. Coke doesn't promote Pepsi, Reebok, Nike. So these platforms, they don't like each other. So you need to make sure, like Jensen said, is create the video outside of the platform and then place it in each of these places to help get as much as reach as possible.
And if you're using like a phone that has a wide angle or whatever, each of the, you know, social media does not have the ability to utilize those parts of your camera so you can actually shoot it cleaner and better within an iPhone, or I'm not going to say Android because that doesn't really, but you know what I mean? And then import it in, you've got a wider shot. It's easier to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Agreed. John, where do you put your spur of the moment content?
So right now, most of it lives in Instagram and then
Okay.
obviously Facebook because they are combined now. We're working on having everything on our website.
Mhm.
We're also working on having a website,
Nice.
so that's in the progress. But yeah, right now that is it.
So one of the things I was hoping someone would mention is like your spur of the moment content needs to go in your stories. It should not go in your actual news feed. Does anyone know why?
It lives there forever.
It lives there forever. So your cat might be awesome and you might put a winter hat on him. But if you're taking the time to create expensive content, so like your time where you're paying a videographer to make this content, you want it to perform really well. So that algorithm for that expensive content is being drugged down by the picture of your cat. So you might only get 2 or 3 likes from the cat, and it's hurting your expensive content's algorithm. So the stories algorithm and the actual newsfeed algorithm, they're separate. So make sure to treat those things separately. So the spur of the moment content, like Joey and these guys were talking about, put that in your stories and protect your actual algorithm for your feed so the platform will send your video out further. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit quicker because we're a little bit behind schedule, but opposite question. What is something that you regret doing with your history with video?
Am I going first again?
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility. So something that I regret on with doing my videos in the past is kind of overproducing it.
Meaning?
Just same thing I said before, just overthinking it, making it all so fancy versus just putting it out there.
Yep.
And so I know I paid for some like educational videos that I thought were going to be a huge hit and really boost a lot of my views, and they to this day still are the lowest viewed videos I've ever made. Versus like me doing like selfie mode, walking into a house or something like that, or with my phone on someone's in front of the house that they're about to buy or about to sell. Performs a lot better. So same thing you said earlier, done. Would you say done is better than perfect?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just overproducing is something I regret.
Yep. What about you, Jensen?
So Joey will probably remember this. I was at a world-class event and I was criticized for not being in my videos And I said, well, the house is what I'm selling, not myself. And couldn't have been farther from wrong. So now that I'm actually in my videos, I feel like they're doing better. They're selling not only the house, but me to prospective clients and my sphere. So I would say me not being present in my videos, it was a lot easier for me to not be in my videos because I could be behind the camera
Right.
doing the video and just do it all by myself, which is also a regret, was actually shooting my own video rather than hiring a professional. Even though I had professional equipment, it was a terrible use of my time. So I would say that was probably.
So let's go back to the first answer. So the not being in your videos. How
Mhm.
many of you guys have a fear of being on camera? Be honest, we're all friends here. How many of you have a fear of being on camera? Yeah. So I mean, not to pick on anybody, but why? What was that? Says who? Says who? So here's the thing. Since being up here, picking on myself, have you guys thought, man, I wish he had a head of hair, or I wish he would have lost his 15 pounds since COVID cap? I mean, no. I mean, what are you guys thinking? You guys thinking about the information that they're providing you, and how can I apply that to myself? So when it comes down to it, do you think anyone, I mean, pardon my language, anyone gives a shit what you look like on camera? I mean, if you have a bat in a cave or your collar's outside of your shirt, that might be a little bit distracting, but for the most part, no one cares about you. And there's freedom in that. Welcome to the party. But so, I mean, the thing is, you need to get out of your own way. You just, like Jensen said, you just need to send it, and you're going to end up getting traction. And to his first point, your face is the brand. You can't hide on the other side of the camera. You have to be in front of the camera. People want to work with you. Show of hands, how many people think that your clients care what brokerage you're in? Nobody? Not a single hand. But I mean, so they're here for you. They're here for the value that you can provide to them. Because once again, they're watching your video, but they're thinking how they can apply that information to them. Now, to your second point, talk about what that's, you knowing your hourly rate and how you can apply that to hiring someone to help you.
I mean, it's hard to hire somebody, you know, I feel like, you know, Joey set the bar really high early on in our industry as far as doing videography for realtors. And, you know, I started doing video in 2013 when no one else was doing it. And it was really easy because I was the only game in town. So it didn't matter if I was in the video or not. It was still highly, you know, it was a nice video with sliders and gimbals and, you know, things that people weren't using. And then Joey came on the scene and kind of turned the industry in Columbus on its head by doing great videos, not only for himself and his wife, but for other agents in the industry. And, you know, I just kept doing what I was doing and thinking it was no big deal. And, you know, again, the 123 Main Street video, to me, I was like, yeah, whatever, you know, but it's great. You know, the 123 Main Street video is better than doing nothing. You know, it's better than, you know, and it's selling, you know, yeah, I've got a shitload of realtors in my feed, but not everybody does. Mm-hmm. So do the 123 Main Street video rather than doing nothing. And the tools that are out there are fantastic. And they're even getting better and easier for you to do it yourself. So do it yourself rather than not do it at all. But if you start to get into a higher production level as an agent, you should absolutely hire out and get somebody to help you not only shoot it, but edit it, because the art is in the edit and it takes so friggin' long. So yep. I know you guys know that.
Well, so how many of you guys have hired a videographer to help you shoot videos? How many of you guys would be interested if you could figure out a way to leverage and buy your time back? Come on, get your hands up. Thank you. So what there is there's you need to know your hourly rate. So if you don't know your hourly rate versus what a videographer is charging, you don't know when it's appropriate for you to hand the camera to someone else. Now, yeah, there's efficiency, there's all these things, but if your hourly rate's $175 and a videographer costs $100, you are losing money having yourself do it. You're wasting money. So when did you make that decision to bring someone on to help you out?
It's only been in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So, but my business has, been a lot better in the last several. I think we all can say the business has been better in the last few years. But I'm also, you don't know what you don't know, right? So like, you don't know what it's like to hand that over until you know what it's like to do it, and then to hand it over and go, oh, wow, it's edited in my inbox the next day.
Poof.
It's also like, it's no different than hiring a transaction coordinator or an admin, where you're just like, holy shit, why didn't I do this earlier? But you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So I would say that's
good. So would you be willing to help, if anyone had any questions on how to hire a videographer or any kind of creative, would you be willing to have a conversation with them?
sure. And there's a lot of great people that have come into the market since things have gotten easier and cheaper, as of the last few years.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, having a videographer on your team is huge. Anthony is probably one of the better videographers I know. I know he hasn't said anything, but hi, Anthony. So he has helped my business tremendously. And if you guys want to connect with a videographer, I highly recommend talking to Anthony. So I've lost my train of thought. So going on to you, Lauren, what is something that you regret doing that you wish you could kind of unwind?
I would say aside from like deleting credibility in, posts that I had gone for 5 years, our biggest thing is like our team is like our family. We're together often. We hang out at the house. We, do random things. I mean, you come to our house often. Our lenders come to our house often. Our title people, our inspectors come to our house often. My biggest, I would say, regret is just not turning on the camera. Like every time we get with people, we're like, holy shit, we just had like a whole hour conversation that would be tons of content and no one turned on a camera. Yep. I mean, we just got back from Brooke and Liz's beach house for 3 days. We shot one video the entire time we were there. I mean, yes, we were masterminding, but like just turn the camera on. Whether it's good content, whether it's time-lapse content, whether it's no one's talking and it's just a video and you put words over it, just shoot the camera on whatever and make it content.
Yep.
So.
Agreed.
I guess just not creating more content, which sounds a little ridiculous, but Ryan, you probably, I don't know your frequency, once a day?
For videos?
Yeah.
So strategically, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So based upon when my audience is active, we're doing right before 9 o'clock, trying to ride that wave. And then everything else is just the PO content that's living in stories.
Yeah, I'd say if you have the opportunity to create content, you should do it, to Lauren's point. I mean, and a lot of times it doesn't feel like we have that opportunity. We're busy. We don't want to. But again, if we open up our lives to the people who follow us, because they are nearly all prospective clients, then it makes you more relatable. Share your workouts and your diet. If that's something that you're big on and you want people to know about it, that you're trying to push that. Maybe that's your personal goal. Share that you want to travel more. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to be involved with the community in different ways. Again, that's what we're focusing on. We work with a lot of young families because we have a young family. So that just naturally, that's what we talk about. That's what we do a lot. We're active in our community, so we attract a lot of people in our community. We're listing the mayor of Sunbury's house this week because we're really, really, really active in Sunbury and in Big Walnut schools. I shoot for the schools. I shoot for our golf club, North Star Golf Club. I shoot for Rockford Homes because Rockford Homes builds in our area. My responsibility on our team is to be the marketer. My wife is strictly sales, and I am, for the most part, marketing. So my job is to go out and create mutually beneficial relationships. I win and you win. And if there's a third party who wins, even better. If you're shooting stuff for the school district, they really need good content because Big Walnut School District just is not producing top tier content. I'm from Hilliard originally, so wedged between Dublin and Upper Arlington, wealthy, affluent communities, and Hilliard's a great community. But, there's always that like competition of the next door neighbor, and us in Sunbury, and with Intel coming, and New Albany's content is awesome. And we want Sunbury's content to be just as good as New Albany's, even though they're a little bit more affluent community in New Albany. And so there's always that. I have a little bit of a drive to want to do a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. Getting a little bit of an advantage. My brother's a cinematographer on the East Coast, and my dad was a professional musician, so I kind of grew up in the creative world. So I really enjoy that. I just regret not creating more content when we have the opportunity to do it.
So the consistent thing that I heard from each of you is not starting sooner and then not shooting more often. So just kind of, that's awesome. So that's the end of our primary 4 questions. We're going to let you guys ask a couple of questions of these guys. We're going to take a stretch break in like an hour, or not like an hour, 15 minutes, sorry. So if you guys need to use the restroom, answer a phone call, those kind of things. So does anyone have any questions about what we've talked about so far? Come on. Yes, thank you. I know it's Snowball. Yeah, fire away.
So I'm just starting to get into posting my content. I have a bunch of videos in my phone that have never made it to the reels. And I see, so like I could talk about this all day, right? Like Kim Kardashian gets more posts when she takes her makeup off. She gets more interactions. Like to your point earlier, nobody cares what you look like.
Mhm.
What's the thing, or what's the mantra, or what's the thing you use to kick yourself in the butt on the day where maybe you went out on a date night, you have a little bit of a hangover, maybe you're feeling sick and you don't want to post, maybe you just are not in the mood, but consistency is key, right? So what's the motivator for you to not skip a day at the gym of content?
She's looking at you.
Look at Joe. He doesn't skip it at the gym.
I don't know. If you don't do it, somebody else will. I think if you're not feeling 100%, talk about the fact that you're not like, today's not the day, or like maybe allude to that in the captions or something. I think the point earlier, just creating content, all different ways, lots of different ways to create content. And maybe it's not something where you need to be talking. To Lauren's point, maybe it is something about you just being you're at one of your jobs, the inspections or something, and this is a really unique house or unique case, a unique story, or something that maybe it's not unique. Maybe it's something that a lot of people keep running into and can relate to. So it's a lot of people that ask me, what do I create content about? I don't know. What are your 10 most frequently asked questions? Reverse engineer that, create content about those 10 things that all your clients keep asking about. Like that's maybe just the easy way to just start. When you don't know where to start, just talk about what people are talking about. They got questions, you have the answers, just use those answers for video content. But I think it's just be open about it. Not everybody's going to expect you to be like on it every single day. And we have our weekly podcast and we're pretty upfront about it. You can usually hear it in our voices because they're good microphones. Like, I'm not feeling 100% today, but we're going to push it out.
So I think for us, the biggest thing that is our downfall is we go back and we watch the video and we critique it ourselves, right? And that's what our business coach said is like, we have, to Jensen's point, so many realtors, so many inspectors, and we're seeing the same content over and over and over. So in our heads, we're like, oh gosh, we're going to be the 75th person this week to post that stat, right? But our consumer who's following us, they don't follow all those people. So that's why, we've kind of flipped our script of like, we need to kind of forget about what everyone in this room is posting and start posting what we know to be the mayor of our community, right? And I think for you too, with home inspection, it's so interesting. You can beat the algorithm by making like a 7-second video of a water heater and just writing a bunch of content. So they're going to hold it or they're going to look through it over and over. And all of a sudden you've got 3-4 loops for them to read the entire paragraph. That's an easy way for you guys to beat the algorithm, whether you want to be on camera or not. But just not watching our video has been huge for us because, we're our biggest critiquers, right? And so we go through and we're like, oh, my hair's a little like wonky here, or I said there, or we both said the same thing at the same time. Like, just post it, send it, forget it. I'm not practicing what I preach, but I'm telling you to do it. Do as I say, not as I do.
I think these guys covered it. You got anything else to add?
Good job. I think it's just the feeling of like if you're growing a garden, like if you water it a little bit every day, it grows more and more. And if you skip a couple of days of watering the whatever you're growing in the garden, I'm not a gardener, obviously, won't grow. And so like any just little video can be, or a little piece of content can be that piece of content that is the kind of call to action for that client to reach out to you. Whether it's just like, hey, like I saw you help Susie sell their house, like good job. We're actually thinking about selling ours too, and would love you to help with us. Like any one of even bad content can kind of create that moment. So
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. So one of the things that has kind of rung true for me is like my content coach, for example. If there was one specific video, and I've watched this video probably 300 times now, that if he decided just to take a day off, my entire life would be different. Like the coaching program, knowing these guys, the doors that are opening as a lender, I mean, my life would be completely different. So I feel like I have an obligation to send the content, even if it's only going to get 100 views. You never know, one of those 100 people, it could change their life fundamentally. So there's a responsibility that comes with posting content that could help other people. Yeah, we post the fun stuff too, but at the same time, you just never know who's going to be watching. And show of hands, if I told you that you were only 4 videos away from getting your next lead or your next closing, how many people would want to post 4 videos as fast as they can? Yeah, exactly. So you just never know which one's going to hit, which one's going to be that $1 million listing, which one can open a door that gets you into a relationship that could be a $10 million account. You just never know. So get out of your own way and just send it. Yes, back here.
So if you were someone that was just starting out, and I legitimately mean like the only experience of creating a video was like teaching my first graders when I was a teacher and it was COVID. What you keep talking about editing and like soundovers and voiceovers and things like that. What editing software or like tool do you find the most helpful, but from a very beginner state?
okay, I was saying the start and stop button are pretty good.
But I need you to go a little further.
That
What do you
I mean, that's all I use. So yeah, next.
Well, John's not wrong. You were a school teacher, so you already know how to teach class. So just hit that start button and teach class. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, if you need to make some tweaks, are you on a Mac or a PC?
Do I look like a PC person to you?
No, there are great editing programs. There's a site called youtube.com you can go to, and you can. I didn't know anything.
Right.
I figured it out. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
I have no background. None.
We use Filmora. So it's on a Mac. It's called Filmora. It's like, what, $300 a year,
Yeah,
I
it's not
think.
bad.
It's not bad at all. And I jumped on YouTube and I watched a 15-minute video. And now I can do, like I told Jen, I was like 11 minutes in. I was like, I feel like I know this entire platform. It's super simple. They break it down. I mean, it's very user-friendly. Before that, I used iMovie, which, again, like I have zero background in any of this. It's just, kind of cutting out the fluff, if you will, throwing some words over it, putting some sound into it, and kind of cutting it all together. So, but Filmora has been great for us. And kind of like to Jensen's point, like I'm doing it still myself right now, just because I want to master it before I send it off and expect someone to do our branding and our personality in it. So.
I can't help it. I use software that I've used for years, and I'm thousands deep in this software, so it's a little heavy-handed. But iMovie's great, and Lauren mentioned one as well. So
Where are you posting to?
Nowhere yet.
So Instagram's like in
Yeah,
the
you
real editor.
edit,
Fantastic.
edit inside Instagram.
Hard, like I feel like there's so many great ideas and so much great content, and like I have a lot of it. What do I do with it? And
Yeah.
so this is going to be helpful.
Are you on an iPhone or an Android?
I
Okay, so there is
Good answer.
iPhone, there is iMovie for iPhone. and it's free, and you can download it, and then you can just film on your phone.
Trim the
and-
edges.
And pull it in, and exactly.
Trim the edges.
Trim the edges, and Bob's your uncle.
Go. Yeah, sir.
Yep. Use clips.
Real quick, where do you start and stop with actually using clients in your videos? Yeah, of course, they approve of them. Do you suggest that? Do you not? Or is it depending on the personality, the situation?
Yes, I mean, I let anybody, any of my clients, tell their story on there on my social media. As far as permission wise, I always like have them reply to an email that just says, "Hey, I give you permission to use my face on your social media." But I've had some of the most awkward people on my videos, and just like I'll say, "Go tell the story," and they'll go for like 20 minutes, and then I still do all my own editing, but I'll go through and like shorten bits like of from their kind of ramblings into making it a coherent story. Actually one of my highest viewed videos right now. Literally, they talked for like 20 minutes and just kept on going, and I shortened down to like a 30-second story. It was amazing.
That was a lot of jump cuts.
Well, then I learned the thing from you where if you zoom in and then zoom out,
Yeah.
then it doesn't look like you've done any editing. It just looks natural.
Yep.
So. Anybody else?
Up front.
Thanks for inviting me, Jensen.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, because I'm not a realtor. But my question is, it's kind of a two-part, is how are you getting followers? That's my toughest part. And every time I post on Instagram, I have strippers follow me, which are not my clientele.
Yeah, but it's not the worst thing ever, right? Hey, they have a lot of cash for a down payment.
They buy houses too.
And then the other part of the question is when you're posting, are you interlinking to your Facebook, to your Google GMB and all that?
So if you create it, they will come. That's, I mean, just constantly putting stuff out there. If hashtagging, I don't know how much it works anymore. Yeah, it just kind of depends. But running promoted Facebook posts, figuring out the Meta business suite will help a lot. Running ads that will that you put in Facebook and Instagram to people that aren't your followers will help you create followers. But again, just creating content.
So the fastest way when I grew my old Instagram was when I would post anything, I would tag everyone on the entire team. And the expectation was, if I tag Jen, Duncan, Cody, they would then share it and it would have my handle on it. If we're at, say, my favorite place ever, Dirty Frank's, I would tag Dirty Frank's and then they would share it. And then if you have, some sort of, if you're, traveling or anything like that, you tag wherever you're at, and just the geo tag helps you kind of get more and more eyes on what you're doing. Aside from that, we were really good, I would say, during the pandemic when we were less busy. If you have a group of people who you are really close to, if they hop on as soon as you post it and they share it and save it, like bookmark it, that automatically tells the algorithm, oh, this is something that people are saving, educational, see later, and that puts you to the top too. So we used to post in our team message, hey, I just posted something on TikTok or Instagram, go save it and share it, and that would help boost you to the top.
So to that point, do not do follow Fridays. Do not buy followers on Facebook, Instagram, all those things. The way the algorithm works, and we learned this the hard way, we were trying to get as many followers as we could, to your point, but the way the algorithm works is that it sends it out to 10% of your audience. But if most of your audience is fake, or they're not paying attention to you, or they're in Zimbabwe somewhere, they don't care about your content. So as soon as you launch your video, it's going to fail right out of the gate. So if you see someone, and we're all getting spammed on Instagram right now, but if you see someone fake follow you, a stripper or whoever, remove them as a follower as soon as you can, because that's going to impact your ability to get that video, your expensive content, out further.
Great, I'm down to 2, myself and my company.
That's okay. It's a good place to start.
It's
How many
all
people
about
do
the
you-
percentage of your followers that actually engage, that actually matters.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's called, but I have an app. Let me see real quick. Sorry to be slow here. Called Followers for Instagram. And what I do is I do like a weekly or bi-weekly audit to make sure that I'm purging fake bot followers and stuff, and making sure that I'm also paying attention to agents and Sphere that have followed me that maybe I didn't realize that there was a notification, so that I can make sure that we're following each other.
Good.
And they have that for almost all the platforms too.
Thank
So
you.
since I have a whole Reeler group, I should just say, hey, follow me.
That's right.
Should, but once again, follow Fridays are dangerous for that reason. We're going to do one more question. Who had a question? Don?
So it sounds like you all have been doing this for a while. So I'm just wondering, did your business ever spike up quickly, or it's just been a gradual growth?
Mine, so in December of 2021, I was like gung ho. I was posting every day, whether it was video or stagnant post, whatever. It took me till about, I would say, April to really see I was gaining like 2,000 followers a week, because of the consistency, because they almost knew what to expect, right? But I got to a point where, yes, I had 2,000-3,000 likes on everything, but out of 70,000 followers, that percentage is nothing, right? I'd rather have 1,000 followers and 500 of them are engaging, because I built it so quickly. It kind of just, I was not building any relationships. I was just getting the clout. Now I'm less focused on building quickly and more focused on building with people that I actually want. Like if you look at my follow requests right now, there's a lot of them I'm not even responding to, because it's not the type of client that I would want. So I don't care if they're following me or not, because they're not going to turn into dollar signs for me down the line.
It takes a while. Like if you're building a brand building takes a while. To John's point, it's kind of like, water in your garden. It really does take a while. The brand content that you create is that slow drip, is that long-term brand build. But then if you create promotional content for that quick sale, so it's either generally a box of creating brand content that you expect to do well over time, and you're probably going to do them consistently, or it just is your brand video, it's your handshake video, it's your introduction to people who don't know you. The promotional stuff, that's the sales stuff. Come to my event, buy this house. That's the stuff you expect to make money on, but don't do all of one or the other. And show all of your sides. And as Gary Vee says, it's jab, 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 right hook, or give, receive. Give, I like to create, ideally, infotainment. It's entertaining, but it's also informative. There might be some actual information in there. It's not just Dumb and Dumber, slapstick, goofy, that's entertaining. He fell on his head. No, but it's, oh, okay, he did something in a compelling way. I can't look away. And I actually learned that there's a new house for sale in this community. That's awesome. So like that's kind of that win-win that ideally you're looking for, but it takes time. Don't expect the quick sale. I wouldn't.
So I think I'm the oldest one up here. So yeah. I was the first one on most of the platforms. So that's the other way to gain a following, is be the first one there. So, I would think I was Facebook and Twitter in 2007. And, I try to be the first. I constantly am looking at the new social media platforms on the App Store. There's a new one out there called Be Real, which seems to be catching fire. And I'm there and I'm trying to post as much as possible. Going back to some regrets, my TikTok account, anybody that's followed me on TikTok, I did not really start that the most real estate appropriate way, which I figured out by one of the mothers at another country club swim meet came up to me and was like, you're the TikTok guy that doesn't effing like TikTok. And I'm like, yes, that's me. So realize that people are watching your content, but
And now they're clients of yours?
I wish that was the end of the story.
Feels bad how you felt about TikTok.
Yeah, no. Well, I just, so I actually have deleted all my TikToks and I'm starting from scratch. But yeah, just get there early and often, and they don't all take off. I'm part of Truth Social, and I don't have many followers there. And Peach, I don't even think is a thing anymore, right? But you've gotta go, and get in, try it out, and just again, like I said before, put your content everywhere if at all possible. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't quit, you don't lose.
That's right.
You asked about business, right? Like how our business relates back to our social media. Are you newly licensed? You've been in it forever? Yeah. Cool. Well, so I started my real estate career at kind of the same time I started doing all the video stuff. And it took to see business come from social media. It took about 2 years before it started. Because at the beginning, all of my business was mostly from online leads, and I hate working online leads, and I don't work online leads anymore because they all come from my repeat and referral business, which is mostly because they see me on social media. That took 2 years to build it before I saw real like payback, dividend,
Return.
ROI.
Yeah,
Here we go. Return. That's what I was
Return.
looking for
Yep.
on my content.
All right, so we're going to take a 5-minute break, answer phone calls, use the restroom. Does everyone remember where the restroom is? So out the door to take it right. So we're going to give these guys a break for a minute, but we'll be back in like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Well, no, it's good. I was like, yeah, just like you do.
How you doing, buddy? Little body camera. I got a little thing right
magnet?
I got a little thing right here.
I like it.
Huh? I did. I'm trying to find a way to work it out. Yep. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I'll probably do it after the Yeah, I'll bring it up after the break. Yeah, no, I will. Thank you for catching. After they're going to text message in like 30 minutes, the whole room, except for the vendors, that is going to be an invite to speak on. I will, yeah. Nope, doesn't go.
I'm gonna be looking out for your new videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was so excited to get into it. Yep.
These are all good
Thank you.
Actually, no.
Profiles, like what you should post on public or private profile.
Yeah.
Which one should you do?
It's a decision that you have to make. So like I've got 2 little kids, and if I'm trying to attract strangers, I got to make sure that I'm protecting them. So you can see my kids on my content, but you never see their face, or they're in a huge crowd and you can't pick out which one's them. So it just depends. So like everything I have is to drive business. Personally, for me, I don't need to let people know what I had for dinner. So everything is for the purpose of trying to get sales across the board. Now, are you an agent? Linda? That's okay. Ryan.
Morgan.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah. Seen your face online before.
Good. That means he's doing his job. Yeah. You good? Good. Yeah, no, man, hit me up as much as you need. Yeah.
Did you go to the doctor? I did, yeah. So actually, they told me that there's a ligament that goes from like your knee to your like the outside of your ankle. We've evolved out of it, kind of like wisdom teeth. We don't have
Really?
wisdom teeth anymore. So if you get your wisdom teeth taken out, does it cause any issues with you chewing and biting and stuff? Initially.
Oh, yeah, sore.
Yeah, right. So that's and that's kind of like essentially you just had your wisdom teeth taken out. So it takes some time for your leg to adjust and not have that tendon anymore.
Huh.
So he's like, it's something he's like, it's super common in people 30 to 40. It's like, once you get older, like, you don't do the activities anymore.
Do less.
He's like, you're gonna be fine. He's like, it's freak, like, accident, the way you jump, how that happened. He's like,
Wait till you're 40.
Got a Greg earlier. I'm sorry. I'll bring everyone a drink. Do you want to get should we get the happy hour supply?
Is the happy hour here or something?
Here. Yeah. It's just right here. Yeah. Booze and
Yeah, go ahead and mention it now. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get it out. Yeah.
Hour. The next round of questions is going to be a lot faster.
Are you playing any video? Or?
Nope. Nope, we don't want to distract.
It's just a little camera.
Yeah.
You're on camera right now.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Watch what I say. You're gonna have to edit it.
There's going to be no audio, don't worry.
Yeah. Because I only do commission.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is step up in commercial. Nobody's doing this in commercial.
Nope. Nope. No, you can definitely put yourself out there and be a trailblazer in the commercial space when it comes to media.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's get together and do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you.
You got my number, right?
Yeah, I have nothing else I'll get from listening.
I live with she's doing some real.
Yes, she's doing great.
I want to do some of the commercial stuff. We just closed a whole bunch of deals, so I want to go back to each one of the deals and get those done.
Absolutely.
So on Instagram, you recommend going professional line or just
Creator.
What?
Creator.
What is it?
So there's 3 different tiers on Instagram. So there's your personal, there's business, and then there's creator. You go all the way up to creator, it unlocks all the creative stuff, all the music, all the video opportunities. So if you stay on personal, it's going to limit that. But if you go up to creator, it unlocks everything. And it doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, we're going to get rolling again.
Before we start up again, we decided to get the happy hour stuff out now. So if you would like to have a beverage or a little snack while you're listening, come grab that.
We're getting ready to roll. Hi. Huh? Hi.
Good.
I totally forgot to introduce myself. Not everybody, but we're gonna do that now. Do what?
You introduced us.
Do what?
You introduced us.
I did, but I got so excited about getting rolling, I kind of skipped over my whole intro.
Best one-liner of the day so far.
Which was?
Start stopping.
Oh, that was good. You're doing great, buddy. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Insta 360.
I want to be like, hi.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Show what you're doing. That's why I'm doing it, so I don't have to hold a camera. This is much easier. This thing is. There's a magnet under my shirt. Yeah.
Can I just take a picture of that?
Yeah, sure.
And then I didn't know if you had a car.
I got to
Absolutely.
with someone that knows you guys.
Yeah.
No, I meant what it was.
Oh yeah. So this is called an Insta 360 Go. No, this is Insta 360 Go. It just came. I got it. Yep. Yep. Oh. No, you're good.
Here you
go.
All right, get me into the new recording.
Camera. Yeah, no problem. All right, we're gonna get rolling. My pocket's not open. It didn't cut my pocket.
The new blazer?
Yeah, kinda. $50 Men's Warehouse.
There you go. See, I found a blazer in my closet.
Really? Did it fit?
Yeah.
Nice.
remember when I got it because we were at a bar one day. The guy was like, get kicked out of the bar and like wouldn't leave. It's like me and my friend like, get him out of the bar. We came back in.
Jack was there.
The Jack was there. The bartender was like, that guy, you want this? I'm like,
Sure.
The rest of the night.
Free jacket.
Yeah, I have two blazers now.
Do it.
I have 2 jackets now.
Congratulations. You're moving up in the world.
That one in my wedding.
Let's start pushing people back in. Okay. I'm not ignoring your landing page stuff. I'm not ignoring your landing page email. It's still sitting unread. Okay, good. Cool. Huh? Just lightning round. Not going to be as in depth, but more questions. Huh?
Video camera?
Yeah.
Magnetic? So you kind of, anyone who you're looking at,
Yeah.
love that.
That's cool. Huh? It's a video camera.
And then you can upload it to
I save it on my phone, and then I throw it through an app called Quick by GoPro, and it just kind of mixes everything so I can have a full video in like 30 seconds or so. I feel like I'm spending all your money. I love how quick you guys are on the draw. Yeah, absolutely. You don't get the whole room. Yeah.
Because I can tell from the lens, it's like a wider camera.
It'll make my face look really, really wide, like right now.
Oh, that's so cool. So it does voice.
Yeah, it can record audio. This is what I took to Disney. So I just had it sitting on my hat and recorded the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't have to sit here and be a schmuck and hold my phone up. I just put this thing on.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah.
Good luck with you, okay? I know. I don't know what it's called, Ryan. I tried, Ryan.
Yeah, it's okay.
They're like, did we tell you to say that, or you just tried that? There you go. See, thank
There we
you
go.
for backing me up.
I appreciate you.
Happy hour, our Lincoln Inspections
Thank you.
and Black Tie Moving, and they were both supposed to send somebody. But I'm not sure who it is because it's not Chris and Jerry. So
Okay, so why don't you?
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you do that because you know them better than I do. I don't want to muddle. Yeah. All right, hey guys, we're gonna get back on again. How you doing, bud? Get rolling again.
He's like 5 years younger version of Greg. Greg was a little less clean.
that's funny.
All right, before we get started again, I would like to take a second to acknowledge our sponsors for the happy hour. Jerry Linkhorn from Linkhorn Inspections and Chris Hess from Black Tie Moving. And I think they were going to send somebody here. I think, come on up here.
Yeah.
Come on up. If there's anybody here from Black Tie, I hadn't seen Chris, but I thought maybe he sent somebody I didn't know. So anyway,
Yeah, come on up.
It was supposed to be the Chris and Chris show, so I don't know what happened. But no, thanks for the opportunity. I'm glad we could jump in at the last minute and sponsor you all. So hope you guys are getting a lot out of the class. Hope everybody has a great afternoon.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and back to Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. You know, the one thing that I forgot to do, I've been really excited to get to today. So much so that I sent kind of a pump me up song to these guys before I got here. So I was so anxious to get here and get this thing going that how many of you guys even know who I am? Well, some of you. Yeah. Okay. So for you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Miracle. I'm with Ruoff Mortgage. I've been in the business for almost 2 decades now. So I got in when I was a baby. And yeah, I mean, how many of you guys have heard of Ruoff? Most everybody. And we have a pretty good reputation from what I understand around town, thanks to Jack. Jack, say hi. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to put you on the spot, but I did. So once again, so how many of you guys would like to learn more on how to develop your skills as an agent to accomplish some of the things that these guys are doing at a high level? Is that something you guys would want to do? Okay, so here in like the next 4 minutes, everyone who's not a lender in the room, sorry, lenders, I love you guys, but sorry, you're going to get a text message on your phone with an invitation to join our coaching program. So yes, lending is how I pay the bills and help feed my kids. But this is what I love doing. I love coaching. I love teaching. I love doing the media stuff with these guys. But I have a coaching program that I would love to invite you to. So in like 4-ish minutes, you're going to get a text message. And how many of my challenge members are in the group right now? Good. Once again, I love you guys to death. So this is an invitation to join the next challenge that starts in May. We just wrapped up one last week. So the next one starting in about 90-ish days. So back to it. So what we're going to do now to change up the format is we're going to go to a lightning round format. So we're not going to go as in depth, but we're going to ask more questions. Is that cool? All right. So if you only had 2 pieces of gear, screw everything else. If you only had 2 pieces of gear, what would they be? Your camera is not included.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
So my first piece would be a ring light,
okay,
or just any sort of lighting thing to light my face up, and then a microphone.
Okay.
My cell phone and a drone.
Your cell phone doesn't count. It's a camera.
It's also a phone. He didn't say anything about a phone.
I would say the things that work best for us are Jen and a microphone for us.
I can't beat that. Especially if I'm just repeating what Jensen said. Probably a cell phone and a drone. The phone is multifunctional and the drone is
Apparently, yeah.
badass. So drone footage is a lot of fun.
Okay, so how many of you guys have had interest in having a drone? Okay, so I know you're not, but are you licensed?
I'm a commercially licensed drone pilot.
Okay, so the one thing that you have to be careful with a drone, they're fun and there are a lot of stress because you fly it into a tree or over water, that thing could disappear.
I won't call the FAA. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but that being said, it can add a secondary level of cool to your videos. And it takes some skill to learn, as we have all learned, unfortunately, the hard way for me. But that being said, a drone is really cool. But if you're going to be using it in any of your listing videos, your real estate, something that has to do with getting business, I should tell you should get a license. And it doesn't take that long to get a license. So,
to be licensed with the new one. It's light enough.
Oh.
But if it's for personal use, you don't have to have a license. Yes.
Or if it's light enough.
It's true.
For those who said a microphone, do you have any recommendations on one that?
There's a really good one on Amazon for like $10.
Okay, I don't know.
There's a thing. It plugs into your phone, and there's a speaker, and then the step up one has 2 microphones. That one's $40 there.
I think you guys are using the same one.
We got the 2-pack. It was like $37.99. You have like a little thing that plugs into the bottom of your phone. And
Do you know the brand by chance? If you don't.
If you want to text me, I can send you the Amazon link to do it.
Thank you. Is that the one they spammed you on, sort of? They kind of spammed you on Facebook.
Now that we've said it, it'll probably show up. Amazon microphone.
Do you guys want to add anything to that?
These are really good. These Rode mics, I have them stereo dual channel mics. So if you're having you want to sit down with an interview, interview one of your clients, just set up your phone, you can plug it into your phone too. You plug the receiver into your phone. You transmitter, one mic. This comes off here. It'll just clip on here. Sorry, buddy.
Good.
And then clip it onto your client and just record. You can get some good audio that way as well.
So I second the microphone because how many of you guys would really be willing to watch a Blair Witch kind of video with great audio versus a beautiful video with just horrible audio? It's hard to listen to. Exactly. So the Rodes, I really vouch for Rode. It's about $300, but I recommend not making the mistake that I made. So only getting the single receiver and transmitter. Like Joey said, make sure to get the double pack. So it has the 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, and then that will be all the audio needs that you need for years to come. It's really robust and they're not hard to take care of.
And it's much simpler for the Instagrams and TikToks to pick up your actual closed captioning if you have a microphone.
Yes.
And if it's not working, harder to try to figure out what you're saying.
That's a good point about just putting caption on the screen.
Yeah, because no one actually watches TikToks with the sound on in a public bathroom, of course.
And if you are going to do a voiceover, all you do need is your phone. Just go into a coat closet and record into your phone.
So why coat closet?
Because it's gonna deaden the sound and it'll be focused on.
Yep, kill the
audio.
reverb.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thank you guys. All right, so next rapid fire question. Do you make content with your ideal client in mind, or do you just make content?
I'll go first.
Sure. Every time I take a listing or whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to reverse engineer who's going to be watching this, who's going to respond to it. So yeah, I do. I mean, kind of film to my ideal client.
Yes, totally. I would say I wouldn't say. I pulled the data for our thing in August. In my almost 6 years of being an agent, I've sold almost 300 homes and only 12 of them were people I did not know. So over 82% of our team's business is people who are already in our sphere or past clients, referrals, because that's what we like to do. And you're working smarter, not harder, on building their trust because they already know, like, and trust you, right? So if they're referred to you, just blow it out of the water for them. Now you're in their network and it just ripple effects. So I'm not trying to get any Joe Schmo to want to sell with me or buy with me.
Mhm.
I want to get people who we already have like that 6 degrees of separation, because once they see we already have, 30, 40 mutual friends, I'm already in the door.
Right.
I'd say yes for the most part, and kind of go back to the 3-legged stool for us of family, community, and home ownership. Generally, the content that I'm creating falls into one of those boxes, but not always. Sometimes you just want to put something out there because that's who you are. You have an interest in that, and you don't need to be super polished about it and need to have a call to action or maybe a target in mind. But sometimes you just want to express yourself, and I certainly encourage expressing oneself. But generally, yeah, it falls into family, community, or home ownership for me.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, actually, one more thing is I actually, when people are scrolling, I want them to stop scrolling. So I'm trying to have the first 3 seconds of my video stop them from scrolling. So I'm thinking about that just as much as I'm thinking about who the end consumer is.
Yeah. I would say similar to what Joe said earlier about your vibe attracting your tribe. You say that? Yeah. So just I don't really think through the end user, but if I'm genuinely and authentically myself on video, then I know the person that'll attract will be my ideal client.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've enjoyed watching with you specifically is the clients that you and I work with. They are traditionally the same type of people over, and it's like you're carbon copying each of your clients. So I'd say with each of you guys, you're doing a great job attracting who you want to work with versus just total strangers. And one of the things to that is you don't need thousands of views on a video because you might get 10 views, but if they're the right 10 views, that could set up the rest of your year. So that actually leads us to our next question. What is the primary metric that you use to measure if a video does well or not?
I think the primary, views obviously are good to watch or feel good to watch. But I think kind of specific reaches out when people message me or DM me from videos is the biggest thing I'm looking at.
Okay, so conversions, connections, those kind of things. Okay.
Here's a word that we haven't used in a few years, seller pacification. So vanity metrics are very big when you're trying to let your seller know that you're working hard for them by showing them how many views you have. Now, that doesn't mean your video is actually tracking well. It just means a lot of people have seen it for 3 to 5 seconds. And I'm not telling the clients, please don't show this video to my clients. But I gauge the value of a post on how many engagements I have. So that's really where I feel good about the post, but I'm going to use those vanity metrics all day long when I'm talking to my seller.
So before it was just any engagement, if they liked it, shared it, whatever. But since I started my new pages, the best video I have has 302 people actually saved it.
Yes.
So that to me means that I put out a message that people want to go back to over and over. So that's what I'm focusing on now, is giving enough content, enough value, enough something that someone's like, okay, maybe I can't read it right now. Maybe I have to watch the captions right now, etc. But I want to save this to my phone or share it to my next, this one doesn't have the shares on it, but either way, 202 comments and 302 shares. I mean, that to me means it's content that they found valuable enough to save for later. So that's what I'm shooting for now.
Beautiful.
I think a lot of it's been said. I mean, it's creating share-worthy content that people want to spread the news about, or like, oh, I'm this person too. Like, she's doing something funny in this video. I'm the exact same way. I can connect with that, and I want to share that with my people too. Or I did the impact of Intel. I did an infographic. I just created an infographic on Canva. If y'all have heard of Canva, it's awesome. If you haven't heard of Canva, please sign up for a Canva account. It'll be the easiest graphics creation you'll ever have in your life, and it's all right there for you, plug and play, super easy. So I just made an infographic of like the impact of Intel. So I figured, that's like, people are probably gonna, there are bits and pieces all over the place, but I don't know if I've ever really found like one place I put the logo on it. But I think it's creating share-worthy content. The sales stuff, that's fine, but really it's like the relatable personality stuff is really probably what we focus a little bit more on as you continue to build your brand. You want to be more and more relatable. Good content is share-worthy content. So sharing is probably for me the easiest way.
And another trick on that too is if you're making an infographic, put your handle at the bottom. Like if it's some sort of data that you pulled, put your handle at the bottom. That way, whether they share it from your actual Instagram or your Facebook, or they screenshot it and then share it, it always comes back to you because you were the original content piece.
I'm actually glad that you guys brought up the sharing and saving. So how many of you guys have been posting content for 6 months or longer? Do you guys remember before, like on Instagram specifically, that it took almost nothing to get a couple thousand views on a video? Now, after they made a change from just sending out as much Reels content as they can, they're trying to go to, like, they're trying to get you to engage with a certain amount of people. Like before, if my mom would have posted something and we didn't engage for like 6 months, I would have never seen it. She would have never seen mine. But now Instagram made that switch because they were getting so many complaints about getting random people's videos showing up in your feed. So they made the switch to have it be more content of people that you know and you like. So how do you get to that content where it's share worthy? So those are actually the two primary metrics that are driving if a video is doing well, is how many saves and how many shares. So a subtopic of that is watch time. So making people get to the end of your video, but likes almost do nothing anymore. Like I've had a video that had like 50, 60 likes and I got like 100 views. So it's really lopsided from where it used to be. So focus on creating content that people can share, and actually maybe make a call to action in the video asking people to share or save for later. Let me see here. Metric. This is kind of a subtopic of that. Do you worry about going viral? Or is it a driver?
I mean, it's cool, but if it's not hitting the right people, it's nothing, If I'm not getting, a client or two in my DMs asking more information about what I'm posting, I mean, a bunch of people in a different country who are never going to buy real estate with me doesn't really matter, right? I feel like it does show a bit of credibility to a certain extent, that like, hey, I know what I'm talking about, that this many people saw it. But back to the hashtags, like the hashtags used to be super important. And now, 5 to 7 hashtags about what your video is about, who it's for, and how it could help them is really all you need.
Right.
It's posting the location, posting exactly, the people who are surrounded by you, who, if I'm posting something about a loan and I post you in it or tag you in it, or, something about inspection and tag Jess and Hyde in it, like having those types of people be tagged in that at a location and then they share that content means so much more than 10,000 views.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree. It's cool. Does it really help push sales? It might get a few. There's people on Instagram swiping through. I don't know if you've heard the rap song. There's this guy, I think Stephen G, realtor, but realtor, can you do something for me? Like that sort. And I'm seeing it everywhere. I produced my own real estate rap song when I was at a previous brokerage.
It was good.
So can't really use it. I produced a lot of rap songs when I was younger. It was rock, pop, rap. But made a rap song. I said there was a little bit of that FOMO. I was like, damn, that would have been sweet if my rap song would have took off and it's everywhere. Does it really do anything for sales? I don't know. But I guess ask Stephen G, realtor, if it's helping him out in Fresno, California. But I don't know. Yeah, to Lauren's point, it'd probably be cool. But unless it's reaching the right people, I don't know how much it's really going to help you on the sales side.
I've never gone viral.
I mean, the corn kid.
High risk.
I mean, the corn kid is a millionaire, right?
Yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's been on Ellen.
Okay.
But I think it's because he monetized the sound. It
Yes.
wasn't his actual video going viral that made him, you know what I mean? It was the monetization of the sound that then people used that made him go even more viral.
Just got to have multiple streams of income. Right?
Yeah.
That sponsors me.
Yeah,
So
diversify.
it's not just one video, it's a strategy behind it.
Yeah, I mean, and these guys have all had videos that have gone 5 digits or more. I mean, I have one that is $750,000. I didn't get one sale from it. Not one piece of activity that would actually impact my bottom line and help my family. So the going viral thing, I think, is hooey, but we're all getting DMs all the time asking, let me help you fix your Instagram account or help you go viral. And it's all hooey.
But that one video brings up the rest of your videos views, right?
It did, and then the algorithm changed, and now getting 500-600 views a video.
Because I did a video one time of my wife licking.
Hey!
No, she. You know, if you lick someone's. So if you lick someone's elbow, they can't feel it, right? So we were at a wedding, and she licked the bride's elbow, and it blew up. And but then all my videos after that were like, I'd get tens of thousands of views, and then it slowly started taking down.
Yep.
Yeah, if you lick someone's elbow, they can't feel it. Just try it.
If you walk away with one
This is going to end up on TikTok somewhere. Yeah.
Or OnlyFans.
Yeah. So,
I don't know what that is.
piggybacking on the elbow licking, where do you come up with your ideas for content?
For that, I mean, it just happened.
How do you top
and
the elbow lick,
We were at a wedding and woke up the next morning. I was like, whoa. That's fun. Where do I get my ideas for content? I think, like you said, rip off and duplicate is a big one of it. I follow realtors not only in Columbus, but also throughout the States. And if they do something cool that I want to steal, then I do it. So.
Yep. So in the beginning, I would look to the coasts. What are they doing in LA? What are they doing in New York? And I would try the best I could to try to duplicate that in any way I could. I mean, I didn't have Hollywood, whatever, but again, like I said, there was no one else doing it, so it was easy to stand out. Now, those of you that know me know that I'm an idiot, so I just kind of come up with stuff off the cuff, and that's where I don't know where I come up with stupid ideas for videos. But
I wouldn't have used idiot. I would use lovable.
Nah.
Lovable.
Like I said before, whatever trending sound, I would just come up with something that was relatable to real estate with it. Whether that was, a song or a mouth over or whatever. Now, I mean, we mastermind, come up with content ideas all the time, coming up with, again, we could all be better of actually shooting the content that we actually are in the trenches every single day and telling those stories. But just, again, I changed completely to being more authentic and real. And it just has done much more for the relationship than the followers.
Yeah, I'm harping on again, the family, community, and home ownership. Trying to find content that is either original and hopefully satisfies our audience as I feel like I get to know them more and more. And maybe it is a concept that I've seen somewhere else, whether it's real estate or not, a concept that I've seen somewhere else. Try to apply that to our business. I love doing lip sync reels. And what I find most interesting, if you guys don't know, like whether it's a song or just a random piece of audio that someone said that's original or it's from a show, just finding those sound bites that are immediately familiar to people. That's part of it. Just like when you hear a song, so you see, the music samples in songs these days, or a song from like 20 years ago. I like that song because I instantly remember that song from the 90s, and it's got that sample in it, and it's new, but you're basically just doing that same thing, is kind of reinventing, repurposing old content to make it fit your audience.
So if I'm hearing you guys correctly, do you guys care if anyone copies a video that you're doing, that you've done in the past, and do it themselves?
No, because we're not going to have the same followers for the most part.
Right.
No, and I think for me, when I was doing the lip syncing voiceover stuff, it was Schitt's Creek, Modern Family, just random show, The Office, that I knew that my clientele was watching. Mm-hmm. So it was coming up on their algorithm, whether it was my face or not. So.
Good. All right. So next question. How did you overcome the fear of actually being on camera? Or is that something you still struggle with?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I still struggle with it. And I think it's just a matter of doing it and not worrying about what is what you look like or what you sound like. My biggest thing was sounding real dumb when I talk. But the nice thing is if you don't get a lot of views already, and no one will watch it. So, but then you start getting better. But just doing not. I still get nervous, and I'm nervous right now. So
sorry, buddy, I got you. I hate being on camera. I think that what got me ready to be on camera was being behind the camera, because I know what the camera sees. And so I know that if you are going to be on camera, you need to be 2 or 3 times as animated as you, because if I'm talking like this to you right now, when it comes out on video, it's going to look like this and it's going to sound like this, even though I'm talking to you like this. So I really have to be more like this, and it's going to come across like this. So that's a good one. That's from being behind the camera, knowing that that's the case.
I hate being on camera too. It's just a matter of just shoot it and don't watch it, or else you're never going to post it. So.
I have a lot of that.
Yeah, totally.
I'd just say, like I said before, if you don't do it, somebody else will. Talk to your people. Don't pretend that you have to go talk to someone else or be someone that you're not. Just express yourself, be who you are. Yeah, maybe have a little bit of focus on the message you want to send and, how you want to be perceived to some degree. But like, if you overthink that, you won't ever put anything out. So you got to do it. It's reaches and reps. It's over and over and over and over again. And then people will come to expect it. And then people are like, I love his personality. Her personality is exactly like my personality. So just do it over and over and over. The first time's not going to be great. I don't want to use the suck word, but the first time's not going to be great compared to the 10th, the 20th, the 30th time. Got to get better.
And I think too, one more thing I'll add to that is you have to have a hook out the beginning. Like if you don't have something that's going to catch them in the first 3 seconds, like they're just going to like scoot right by you. So don't waste, 30 seconds putting together this amazing production and overthinking it and shooting it 12 times if you're not going to have something catchy in the beginning, because most people just are scrolling through, right?
Yep.
So you've got to have a hook on grabbing them in if they're even going to watch it.
So I want you to stay there. So next question was going to be, how do you know, once you get over the fear of being on video, how do you know what to say once you're in front of the camera? So you talked about a hook. What else goes into what you say?
Knowing your audience, knowing what they want to hear, what they want to see. Again, going back to the frequently asked questions that you get, that's a super simple way to get people in. Let me tell you how I just got my client $12,000 in closing costs, and then I'm going to go into a video about a 2-1 buy down, right? Let me tell you how my client just got this at 75% purchase price. Oh, because the rate, market changed, listing was too high, et cetera. So you have to have something that's super compelling for them to want to stick around, because again, that helps your jump in the algorithm. Is if they're only watching the first 3 seconds of a 1-second video and you're like, hi, I'm Lauren with the LKW Home Team. They're not going to watch anything. You have to hook them in and then give credibility as to why you have, the reasoning behind your conversation, and then actually tell a story.
You just said it. You're telling a story.
Yeah.
That's the hook. Figure out how to grab their attention in those first 3 seconds and then tell the story. That's all.
You guys did great. still figuring it out.
John's our shy guy. So if you guys need help trying to figure out what goes into your video content inside of the coaching program, we actually teach you guys how to script, what to say. Because it's really tough to talk about remedy in a 30-second video. So we help you to figure out what the 4 sentences are that need to go into all of your videos. And then from there, it makes it so much easier to process and shoot.
And another thing is too, like your consumer, you got to talk to them like they're like 5th to 7th grade. Like they don't know what a remedy is. They don't know what contingencies are all the time. You have to speak to them as if you're actually like talking on their level, because if you're talking too high above them, they're going to think that they're never, you're done.
You get swiped.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell us about your first video. What was the first video that you shot?
Oh, first video.
We're not going to show examples.
Mine's a little weird. I've had a marketing media business for 12 years. I used to work for athletes. So I did brand management for 2 world #1 golfers and an NFL Super Bowl champion. So it's a lot of videos I shot were on the PGA Tour for the first 4 or 5 years.
His arms are really long.
And I'll pass the mic. No, yeah, I was just athletes. Those were my first videos.
I honestly don't know. I was so introverted when I got in this business that it literally took Jen pushing me off a ledge and being like, you're a turtle. Here's a camera.
A turtle?
Talk. Oh, yeah. She called me a turtle. I wouldn't talk to anybody. So I think it was like literally her being like, we're going to shoot a video. I don't care how much you're sweating. Don't put your arms up and we're good.
So I think my first video is actually on Facebook. It comes up every on the anniversary of whatever. It was 2009, and wow, I got sick of the Ken Burns effect. Which, if you guys know what that is, it's you take the picture and you move it. I think it's Circle Pix. If you guys are familiar with Circle Pix, it's very similar. But I hated it, so I got a camera. I think it might have shot 1080, and I put it on a tripod, and I just moved. I turned the ceiling fans on, and I just moved the tripod in every room so that it was moving pictures. It was a video, not a Ken Burns effect slideshow. And then when I moved here in 2013, I worked at the Parade Homes every day, and I convinced the builder and the interior designer to leave the staging in for 1 extra day so I could film. And I came in and shot my first video, and it's too long. It wasn't then, but video keeps evolving, and it just
does.
So that was my first video. It was actually really shitty, but when I look at it, I'm like, wow, that sucked. But I'm also like, I'm proud of myself for doing it.
You did it.
So.
So my first video I did was it was January 1st of 2020. I was newly licensed and was telling everyone
year.
it was great. Yeah, no idea what was going on. Yeah, I was telling everyone that I was newly licensed and this was my new account, and I had like 2 views. I think it was my girlfriend and my mom. So
that was very sweet of them. Did they comment too?
They did not.
No. All right. So last question. So what, as short as you can, what has video done for your business after you've made the leap? So what transformation have you had since starting video?
I think the biggest thing it's done for me is it gives my business and me credibility and social proof. Because it shows people that they've given reviews and I didn't screw up too bad on the purchase and sale of their home.
I will say that video actually built my business. Does that mean everybody came from my videos? Probably not. In fact, I guarantee not. But what I did through video gave me the confidence to be able to go to a listing appointment up against a Sandy Rains or a Vutek Ruff, who are just powerhouse, names in real estate, and be like, you're not doing this, I'm doing this. And so it gave me confidence. And then it really kept me top of mind with my sphere, which is what has built my business as well. So again, video is powerful in lots of different ways. It's not just, you're not getting new clients from it. It's the ability to stay top of mind with people. But when I moved to Columbus from Chicago, I was a professional musician, and everybody wanted to know what band I was going to be playing in. And I said, well, I've actually kind of semi-retired for now. I'm doing real estate. And no one really knew that except for the fact that I kept putting out these videos and people were like, oh, this is what you're doing now. And so and now people ask me about real estate and they forget that I actually play music. So
I would say for me, it's built rapport and it's also humanized us because, you can see these numbers and this team and these other businesses. But at the end of the day, like our sphere actually sees, there's personality, there's fun, there's a family, there's dogs. You know what I mean? It's very much so humanized us to our clientele, I think.
I'd say the same thing. I completely agree. I think video humanizes you. I think it helps tell stories. And whether, like I like to say, good, better, or best, at least be good. Like start somewhere, and that's good. The scale will change over time of what you consider to be good, better, or best. But just start a video. It's definitely built our business, definitely made an impact, a pretty big impact in my wife and I's business. And we do it a lot. We've invested a lot of time, invested a lot of energy into this and creating the relationships and then showcasing or spotlighting those relationships or those successes, maybe not so good as successes. Maybe it's vacation, but no matter what, it's all shared on video. And we get comments all the time. Those are the ones I care about. In-person comments from people about, I saw this video, I saw that video. These 2 videos could be completely different types of videos, but that one connected with her and that one connected with him, and that's all that matters.
So we're going to open it up as we close things out. We're going to open it up to questions for you guys. So from the lightning round, what other questions did you guys want to ask the panel? Please.
I've always been a private person, so there are people who are Facebook friendly, any kind of social media, and I'm like, nope, I don't know you. And kind of like you're saying, where it's unless you're going to bring me value. How do you get over that part where now you are going to be a public person?
I'll be honest with you, I delete people every day. Yeah. I mean, there's people every time it's their birthday and I see someone who I'm like, I don't know you, especially because we have our kids and we have our home and we have things like that on our, I don't need your business that much that, I'm going to take a derogatory DM or something like that. So, I mean, I'm not open to just accepting anyone, and I'm not opposed to deleting everyone any day of the week.
It's hard, right? We're in public business. Most of us are, I would imagine, many of us are realtors, and we're public figures in many ways. So it's a tough balance to strike. There's no simple answer other than if you go private or if you stay private or whatever, it's going to hurt your business. There's no way around it. You got to filter more. You got to be more on your toes with people that come at you, especially depending on the type of content you might be posting, especially for women too. Be a little bit careful with the creepers out there, but This is the world we live in. So you got to take the bad with hopefully a whole lot of good too. Hopefully tiny little bad and a whole lot of good.
And I will say too, Facebook's a lot easier because you can see exactly how many mutual friends you have and sift through those mutual friends in a matter of 60 seconds. And if it's a bunch of realtors, I'm going to accept it. If it's a bunch of people who I've never heard their name before and somehow they've crept onto my friends list, I'm going to delete them and probably go through that list and delete them too.
You got that one mutual friend that just accepts everyone. So you're like, dang it.
I'm not going to mention names, but yes, there are some.
We call that Facebook Jesus. Let all who come. Yeah, I struggled with, being public and private because I was a musician, and the content that I posted for promoting shows when I lived in Chicago was vastly different and wildly inappropriate. And those of you that know me I will screen grab 10, 15 years ago on social media and send you on this day, this is the shit I said. But I've just cleaned it up a bit, and I, try to be as discerning as I can, but I do just kind of, I'm an open book. So.
Yeah, I'd say similar to Jensen, I'm fairly open, so I don't have similar, fears or hesitation about it. But personally, I enjoy when I walk into like a bar or restaurant and people say, "Hey, I know you," and I have no idea who they are. And it's usually either because I forgot about them or because they follow me on social media.
So we're going to have time for one more question. Don't be shy. Yes.
So how do you guys feel about being public or private in terms of sharing like what you believe in, whether that's political, faith? How do we feel about? I guess it's a question for the steer clear.
Hard stop. Agnostic, political and religiously agnostic.
There might be merit to the
Community. It could be any topic that we know could be controversial, but that is like what is so tied to your core, your community, or your values. So how do you guys feel about that? Do we ever go into it and you just go with the thought that, well, if he or she doesn't like me, then I don't care because we don't share the same thought, or completely stick to your role? What are we thinking here?
Can I jump in?
Great.
Do you want me to take this one for you?
Sure. I try to like control the channel it's going out on. So my background, I used to be a pastor, so that's still a big part of my life. But I don't post about that on my social media. But I do, like, there's Facebook groups I'm a part of that that side of me comes out, or like, there's different groups that I'm involved in that are kind of more like subgroups or I'm not on Reddit, but like a subreddit maybe, or like groups on Facebook. That's a channel that like I get to scratch that itch, but definitely not on a public posting or public comments. Learn that lesson.
I defer. I stay agnostic. It's just not worth engaging. I mean, even when COVID was a thing, I just tried to just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, our sphere is so different. Like, obviously, there is very much so LGBTQIA stuff that is close to our heart, that if I feel passionate about enough it, and, obviously we're women and the things that have gone on in the last, I might dabble in a little bit, but for the most part, I steer clear because I'm just, my beliefs are my beliefs, and we do it in our own home and in our own team. And I don't feel like that's a need to project on anybody else, because my real estate business really has nothing to do with that, unless their beliefs are so far off of what mine are, and then I don't feel like we're a good fit.
Yeah, same thing. Religion and politics, just generally speaking, aren't really topics that you should be touching a lot on. Going back to the vibe attracts your tribe, generally speaking, like if you present yourself to like certain things or certain interests, those people will more or less kind of follow you, right? And so, it doesn't really do you a lot of good. I think there's potential to do a lot more harm than good. So if you're just weighing your balances here, balancing your decisions here, I don't know that it's going to be a productive way to grow your business, touching on potentially controversial topics. And yeah, we do a lot of stuff. And there are things in Big Walnut School District. And I was a political science major in college, certainly have opinions on things. But I know that it may alienate a certain part of my audience or prospective audience that maybe have not found us, that they see one video. They love 10 videos. There's that one. They're like, ain't my guy. So there's no perfect way to answer that either, too. It's like you want to be yourself, but just try not to get in any car accidents, right? Avoid them.
Yeah.
I was just in an inspection industry mastermind last weekend, and I heard this like perfect statement answers that.
Sure.
One of my favorite business mentors in Texas said, and he is from Texas, so he has very strong opinions about all those categories.
On women's rights? Okay, no.
Huh?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say strong opinions on women's rights.
On everything, all of those. But I love this guy in business so much. I listened to him read the phone book, and he said you can say and do whatever you want because your Bible is transcribed, but be careful to follow the 3 C's. Never condemn, criticize, or complain, because people don't want to hear you bashing other people, complaining, or being negative in general. And
That's good.
I really like that. That's been sticking with me since Thursday.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring up one of our other sponsors.
Yeah, Chris Hess, Black Tie. Movies. We're doing movies today.
No, we need you to record it.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, I'm sorry I missed the break a little earlier. This was kind of short notice, so I'm glad to be able to come out and help sponsor. I noticed a lot of familiar faces, and I want to say thanks for all those referrals that you have sent us. And the only thing I ask, and I'll cut it short, was for those of you who have not used us before, please give us a chance. Give them my cell phone number. If you need it, come and see me. Give them my cell phone number. Make sure they tell me they're one of your clients. I'll make sure they have the best experience in their life for moving services.
So do a great job.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so I want to thank you guys. I know 2 hours is a little bit of a long haul, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. This was our first agent launch panel. Thank you to the Keller office, Rachel and Dayla, for hosting us. I'm going to stick around for a little bit. You guys going to stick around, or you guys got jet?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. If you guys want to finish up what we brought you, feel free to.
Good.
Don't get too rowdy. You know,
You still got to drive home. All right, so let's give a hand to our panelists.
Thank you, panelists.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan, so much.
Hey, your knees really bugging you, huh? Your knees really bothering you.